Large up to my brethren out there, my Reds. I am Liverpool 12th Man. It's Liverpool 12th Man show. We're going to be doing an FA Cup preview, and we're going to be facing against a familiar foe, if you could say that, in the Gooners. So I have put together some things to share with you. I put together the Arsenal lineup that I think we're going to be facing. I also put together a lineup for us, from my opinion. I haven't gotten the direct hotline to Klopp just yet, but um, let's see. Let's just say I hope that we could see something similar to what we're going to be doing, and also I have put together or have some ideas or concepts of like maybe some alternatives for the lineups. And then we're going to go into some scores predictions and some scorer predictions. So I say let's just hop right into it and have some fun. Hope that you guys are well out there. If you're watching this on the replay, appreciate you. You can just leave a comment, to say what's good, if you agree or disagree. But yeah, I'd like to hear your takes on what it is that we have showing. So let me just switch this up a little bit here. All right. And let me do something real quick here. I do hope everyone's well out there. I know it's a new year, same me, new year, something like that, right? but yes, I put together this lineup for Arsenal. I think that it's going to be interesting. FA Cup is only I believe it's the fourth round that we're in right now, so there's still a host of teams involved in this tournament. The FA Cup, I know, is a very big and important tournament on the actual island. So when it comes to England, I know that people really, really do rate FA Cup. It's the longest and most tenured competition in or tournament competition in England, possibly even in Europe, possibly. So it has a very storied history. I know that a lot of times, as of late, especially, it's starting to pick up a little bit more recognition of like the importance of it. I know there was a little bit of a dip in the importance as to show how and what you saw teams or coaches, that for that matter, really putting in what the lineups were that they were actually submitting. Big up to Ozan Kabak. Yes, he plays center back. I do remember those days. Big up. Hope that you're well, brother. I definitely want to hear your take as well, you guys. This is what I think we're going to see for Arsenal. I think that this lineup is the most likely of lineups that we'll see, except for maybe. Okay, so I do have Emery Smith Rowe here at left mid, and that's just because I was thinking that maybe they try to put Havertz up there to try to give him a little bit of a burst of divers. Put two guys in speedos in the front in Gabriel Jesus, and put Kai Havertz in a speedo too, considering both of them are pretty bad at diving. This is I saw this today too. Quick thoughts, Ozan Kabak. Yes, he plays center back. Is asking quick thoughts on your boy Timo Werner going to Spurs. I think it's a necessary thing for them to do. And obviously, where with them going into this AFCON / Asia Cup break and having possibly their most important player on their team depart for the tournament, they had to find some type of relief, some type of offensive relief. Do I think that Timo Werner is the answer? That's a good question. I think he's going to provide some relief. I don't think he's not like the replacement, as in to say for Son. I mean, Son is a very talented player. I rate him very highly, but you're not going to get, the output, I think, from Timo Werner that you would have from Son, obviously, but still all the same, you're going to get some output, and you're going to get a player that does know the Prem, player that probably has probably has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, to tell you the truth, considering how his time here went and how he definitely found it hard sledding, to say the least. Excuse me, but has gone back to the Bundesliga and has been really doing well for himself back in the Bundesliga. It's very interesting. This team loaned him out, to tell you the truth. That shows that, maybe the team that he was playing for didn't necessarily want to take on his wages, or they wanted to find some way of like buttering up another deal between Spurs. I don't know what exactly it is for them to just say, hey, take one of our good players. It doesn't make sense to me. I always see it as like, when it comes to, especially to loans, chances are you're going to want to keep players that help you win. That's just basic math. And if you're one of these players that does leave in the January window, it definitely says that you either pushed for a leave, or probably so you're more so not as coveted by the team you're playing for as you think. But all the same, getting back to this, I think that this is the lineup. Again, what we could see, I had Havertz up front. What we could see also is something similar to this. Maybe you keep Havertz in that middle midfield. Obviously, more of an attacking option, pushing forward with his pursuit. Emile Smith-Rowe, I don't know if necessarily would play there, but if not, I think they're going to go with a very, 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 very progressive lineup. I think they're going to go for it all against us. I think they're going to try to get a win, try to break up the big up Red for life. I see you, brother. And Realism Jared, I see you too. Always showing love and always trying to support. Appreciate that, Realism Jared. Appreciate that. I think, though, that they're going to really push forward with trying to get a result here. They definitely want to stop the slide that they're on. I know that no one necessarily had them. Well, actually, I did. I actually won money on that, but still, not many people had them losing against Fulham. Not many people had them losing against West Ham. Actually, I did too. So big up to the two L's that they had. Put a little cash in my pocket. But all the same, it always seems like whenever they play Liverpool, it's one of those games that puts them that knocks them off balance a little bit. That's just my opinion. I mentioned this last year about how I thought that the Arsenal game against us at home was the game that really basically pushed them out of whack, pushed them out of balance to the point where their footing, they lost their footing, and going forward, they ended up losing games they shouldn't have lost, and they just saw the grips of holding on to the title basically fall from within their reach. This year, they've seen basically they had the loss against Villa, right? And then they drew against, I think it was PSV, I want to say. Yes, PSV. And then they won against Brighton, who's been hot or cold this year. And then, albeit that it was at home, okay, but Brighton's been hot or cold, and also, a team that we went to Brighton and didn't win, but still all the same. We drew, but all the same, we didn't beat them. And then they came against us. They drew against us, obviously, in that 1-1 draw. And then it was just downhill from there. Look, they want to stop this. They want to stop the bleeding, to say the least. I think they have a talented midfield. Odegaard's a talented player. Rice is a talented player. Havertz is whatever. Not just joking. Havertz is a talented player. I rated him before. I'm not gonna say waver off of that. He's a talented player. And then they have a front three that's looking to try and form. Saka's had an interesting year. He's played well in Europe, but hasn't played that necessarily well when it comes to playing on the continent. And then, or at least playing in England. And then you have cases of Jesus, who a lot of people have been putting out. I've seen a lot of videos. I've seen a lot of different Arsenal, especially Arsenal content creators, say that Jesus is a better player than Darwin Nunez. that's up for debate. I don't think so. I'm not saying that's because I support the Reds. I just don't think that Jesus is as talented of a player as definitely not as talented, or if it doesn't have the higher potential than Nunez, certainly. So, but I don't. It's not that I don't think Jesus is good. I just think that he's not as talented, to say the least, as Nunez. Then you have Martinelli, who I think is a real talent himself, but he's kind of having a find himself moment. That back line is where we're going to get into a very interesting situation. I know that they have oh man, I'm gonna go blank on his name. They have hold on, let me remember what his name was. Tomiyasu. I don't know why I couldn't remember that name. Sorry. Especially since I'm so big on Asian players as well. Tomiyasu is a Japanese player, very talented player, but he's going to be going back for the Asia Cup. So without him in the lineup, big up John Conway. See you, brother. Without John Conway in the lineup, without Tomiyasu in the lineup, John Conway does not play for Arsenal. If anyone, he would definitely play for the Reds. But all the same, without Tomiyasu in the lineup, you're going to be seeing most likely Jacob Kiwior. I think it's how you pronounce his name. Yeah, they have this. This is very true. This is who they have out. Ozan says they have Elneny, Tomiyasu, Partey, Fabio Vieira not available. I rated Fabio Vieira before. I think he's a good player. I think he's a good player. Serviceable player. Not exactly like world talent, but I think he's a serviceable player. It's a shame he got injured. Partey, that's a very I don't know what's going on with Partey. Partey. Thomas Partey. I don't know what's going on with him. I know that there's been reports that he is healthy. There's reports that he's injured. There's some, I know that he should be going away for AFCON, but I don't believe he is. It's a weird situation with him. Obviously, I just spoke on Tomiyasu and Elneny not playing as well, and also they don't have Timber either. They don't have Timber as well. He's obviously not available because of injury. That's what he just said. Okay. Oh, we know about Timber's term injury too. That's right. He's on Ozan Kabak. Yes, he plays center back. Is on it just like when he was doing the Terminator. I like it. The Terminator run back. I remember when he was running back with the cutting down the making himself aerodynamic. I appreciate it, Ozan Kabak, to be honest with you. I appreciate it because it was a boyhood dream for him to play for Liverpool. And on top of that, not only did he get the opportunity to play for it, but he gave his heart and he gave every effort and every ounce of his soul to make sure that he contributed and made the most of the opportunity. So big up to him. But yeah, so I know that's I believe this is what they're going to come out with. They're going to come out with basically their starting lineup. They're going to come out with a lineup that looks like a starting lineup for them. This is probably one of their strongest lineups that they could possibly put out there. I don't see them really going into Zinchenko is also doubtful. I think he'll probably play, to be honest with you. I think Zinchenko will play. When you look at ours, what's crazy about ours is that we have, for our injuries or suspensions, we have Matip out, Bajcetic out, Robertson out, Thiago out, Tsimikas out, Salah out, Endo out. And I should say injury / suspensions or away for international break. That is almost every one of those players. Every one of those players could start on the majority of teams in the Premier League. That's how crazy our injury or our list of players that are away. It's crazy. Realism Jarrett says our new players haven't won against any Big Six team. They need this win to give them confidence they can do it. Realism Jarrett, that's a good point. That's a really good point. I have something that I'm putting together something similar to my similar to my spreadsheet that I created with the 71 point spreadsheet I created. And it's a very interesting take because it breaks down basically, who we've played. If you look at our schedule, we have a lot of our difficult opponents we've already taken on. Our top 6, if not top 10 appointments, we already taken from top 10 from last year. We've already taken on a lot of those opponents, and we've taken on those opponents away, which is very, very serviceable for us in this pursuit of silverware and this title that I believe that we should and are in very much in holding on to our own destiny by just winning, baby, just winning. But yeah, it's a very interesting. And you look at our competition for the title, and you look at the games that the teams that still have games and such left on their schedule away against those big 6, if not top 10 teams from last year. It's kind of interesting to see the fact that we have a lot more of those boxes checked off, and we haven't lost any except for Spurs. But it should be pretty cool to see where we go with it. Lee Wizkid, pleasure to see you, brother. Definitely welcome. Hope that you're subscribe and share this with your friends and everything. Ozan Kabak says, let's see, quick question, 12th man. What if we end up with a replay? Is it good or bad? That's a very, very good question. I think I've been pushing it like this. When it comes to this game, I don't necessarily, obviously, I don't want to lose. I want all the belts. But when it comes to this team having to take this fixture against the team that we're seeing on the page right here, if we can get a draw at the Emirates, I would be happy. I know that it adds an extra game by having a replay, but that replay is it's at least at home. I don't necessarily want a replay. I would like to just get this game done and dusted, move on. I also think that because we have this quote unquote winter break, as they're calling it, even though we are still playing, there's no Premier League matches, I think, in the 2-week break, but we still have obviously FA Cup, and because we're in the League Cup, we still have a League Cup match within this break. So we still have games in the break. I've been pressing, and you'll see in my lineup that I have for us going forward with who I would like to see us bring apart. Hopefully, Klopp gets my DM. I think of it as this could be an opportunity, despite us, wanting to conserve and consolidate as much as possible our resources. I still think we should bring out a decent lineup. I still think that not only should we bring a decent lineup in this matchup, but I also think that even if we do get a replay, let's just take it on. I mean, I think that there's a less likelihood that they draw this match and then go to Anfield and beat us to move on in the FA Cup. That's what I personally think. I think that we would then come out with a strong lineup. The Anfield crowd could possibly be the difference maker and pushing us over the line. And I think that would matter. They have a lot riding on this game, and I don't want to see them win at all. I don't want to see them get any bit of any ounce of confidence to help them push for not only the title but also for the FA Cup. Let's see. Red for Life says, he doesn't want to replay. We have enough games to play as it is. That's true. I completely agree with that. We do have a lot of games. We have too many games, I think, to tell you the truth. But it should be interesting considering that, the competition that we have, we will see some rotation even despite us playing in Europa, which is way down the line. I think it's in March, I want to say, is when we have to play those games. But all the same, with those extra games from Europa, the competition shouldn't be the fact that we placed first. We end up missing out on that extra round. The fact that we are in Europa, we won't necessarily be matched up against a phenomenal foe, most likely, hopefully so, for a little while. So that's what's cool. Big up to Daz Reynolds. I see you, brother. I see you. Dad says, "So man, who do you start in goal tomorrow for us?" This is what I think is going to happen. So let's move on to I'll bring up this one. This is the lineup I think that we're going to go with. To answer your question, Daz, I think we're going to go with Alisson. I think Alisson is going to play in goal for us because I believe I remember saying that Jurgen Klopp saying that Alisson is his FA Cup goalkeeper, and Kelleher is our League Cup goalkeeper. So I think that we'll see Kelleher against Fulham, and I think that we'll see Alisson against the Gunners. And why I'm thinking that is because also, hey, Alisson could be the difference in us getting a draw or getting a win. Getting that 1-0, 2-0, 2-1 win or something like that. It could most likely be because of this goalkeeper. And that's just something. Lee Wizkid says, Ali, for me, as Kelleher will probably play against Fulham. Yep, exactly. This is so let's just ride with me for a little bit, we can put on a little Snoop Dogg maybe or something in the background. And just drop the top on the Impala, the 69 Impala, and just ride out a little bit here. I'm looking at this team. I know that some people are probably saying, hey, we don't need to start Trent. We don't need to possibly even start Virgil in this game. I think that's throwing away. I think that would be us sending up the white flag a little bit too much in saying our intentions. Let's just be honest. We don't want to give them anything to we don't want to give them any leg to stand on when it comes to giving the Gunners any confidence. So for me, I put together this lineup for some reasons, some notable reasons. Look, I started Trent on the right. I think Trent will start regardless in this matchup, whether Virgil doesn't or not. I think that one of the captains will lead our team out. Big up. Oh, big up. I see you. I love Liverpool. Yo. Yo to you too. Trent Alexander-Arnold again is going to be on the right, I believe. Again, I think one of our captains will be bringing us out for the prestigious FA Cup game. And then I have Kwanzaa starting. Now, I know people might say Kwanzaa is a coin toss. I'm saying start Kwanzaa here because I truthfully would like to see Kwanzaa start in this matchup and then see Konate and Kwanzaa start in the Fulham matchup. I think that they're adequate. They're a good partnership. I think Konate has started to push and lean into a more of a senior role on this team. I like the fact that he's taking on a little bit more responsibility. He's obviously knowing what measures are going to have to be taken, considering that we don't have the veteran leadership of Matip. He's going to have to step into that role along with Kwanzaa. I'd like to see them possibly start for Fulham. So with that said, I've got Kwanzaa starting on the right side. I got Virgil starting on the left. And then I have Gomez starting on our left side. There's been a report, I believe, that Beck is with the team. However, Beck, I don't know how it works, but apparently he's suspended for this game. So he's not available for this game. That's the only reason why I don't have Beck involved in this game. And also, originally I took a look at putting the youngsters on the right and the left, and I just felt like it was just too much to put on the backs of two youngsters to say, hey, even if it is Virgil and Konate in the middle, to say, hey, we're gonna like really rely on you guys playing these positions. If not, I don't know. I definitely don't want to see them playing inverted roles. But then for them to even say, hey, we're gonna be putting our trust in this huge game at a very talented team in Arsenal at their home grounds, it's a difficult place to be for them. So I just went with hey, let's play our cards in this game, especially since in the League Cup game, there are 2 ties. So, there will be a game against, obviously we'll host Fulham, and then we have to go to Fulham to finish it off. So knowing that there are 2 games, there's a in that matchup, I'm more so sided towards, hey, this one's one and done, or it could be one and done if we don't get a replay, obviously, or draw, but it could be one or done in this. So let's just get this one out of the way. And with that said, I'm going to move on to our midfield. I like our midfield. Think that with the absence of Salah and with the injury to Dom, I don't even know if I said Dom earlier too. Dominic is not going to be is injured as well in that long list of players I said earlier. I'm looking at Gravenberch to make the start on the right. He has started at or it's either started or he was subbed in. I think he was subbed in for right wing at once, but he can play on the right side. I think that it's going to be a very interesting connection, considering he's never really. I haven't seen him play in that triangle. This is going to be a completely new triangle if we do utilize these 3 players on the right side. It's going to be new in the sense of usually Elliott's playing that right midfielder position. Obviously, Salah's normally that right winger. If we do play Elliott, but it's going to be very interesting because the 3 of them are going to be utilized together to create some familiarity with each other and trust in how they incorporate each other's skill sets. So I'm interested to see how that works. It's a very unique place and time to do it at Emirates, but who knows? Maybe it unlocks a key to something that we never knew or never thought of utilizing, especially since a lot of us are looking and hoping that Gravenberch can make that click, make that connection on where and how he can really contribute and help this team really make some moves. So in the midfield, I have Gravenberch. McAllister definitely needs to be in midfield, defensive midfield. He needs to get some legs underneath them in the sense of having the sense that he just came back. He only played a small period of the last game and played well in that last game too. Set up the assist. And then I think Curtis Jones, someone that I've said personally, I think that Curtis Jones is the most essential player in our midfield. I'll say it again. I've said that I believe Curtis Jones is the most essential player in our midfield. He needs to play well and play his game. And when he's in form and when he's clicking, our midfield clicks. It's very similar to what I said earlier in the year when I said about how I know comparisons aren't really looked upon as something to do all the time, but I've said it before that Jones has been molded and been shaped and shifted into a similar construct of Ginny. And I think that he even goes, I'd be as bold as to say he does what we need him to do, even statistically, better than what we got out of Ginny. And that's why I say he's essential. That's why I say he's a very essential component to this team, to this midfield, and to our ultimate success. This is at least what I'm saying. So I'm sure people will waver on that. I know there's people that weren't very high on Jones earlier, but all the same, it is what it is. We'll see how that goes. The front lineup, this is where it's going to be interesting too. I got a question here from Realism Jared. Let's see. I got you, Lee. I'll bring up Lee's first, actually. Can we sustain 4 comps without compromising the league? That's a real good question. I think that we can I think that we can for this reason. I think that we can because, one, I like the fact that I saw, video of Simicast working out, which is doing stretching and stuff. And he's holding poses where I'm just like, if that's broken, what is he doing yoga for? And then not only that, I like the fact that that Robbo is starting to make progressive strides to returning to the pitch. I like the fact that we have Thiago on the mend and possibly ready to be serviceable in some important matches that we'll have. Hey, I said it again. I said it before. I said on Coppage. I'll say it again. Hey, you get the Bentley back. You definitely want to take it for a spin. You know, you finally get it back from the shop. You're not going to put it in the garage and let it sit and collect dust. You're probably going to drive it. So like, you're not going to go crazy with it. It's not your work car. Okay. But it's definitely your weekend car. So, so yes, with Thiago coming back, it's looking good. I'd love to see. I have no idea what they're doing for Shetik, but I know he's still in the facility. He's still doing his thing. So hopefully we do see Shetik back eventually. We have some players that are on the verge of returning to our team, so that'll bolster our efforts. And I think that the response that we gotten from our youth is promising enough that we can make it through this little AFCON Asia Cup period. We'll get Salah back. We'll get Endo back. And all of a sudden, let's just make a push for the long haul, the long run. And obviously, if anything, the question from earlier is pertinent to your question, Lee Wizkid, and that is, let's just get this game done and dusted. Let's win this game, and therefore we don't have a replay. Let's win handedly at Anfield against Fulham, and then we don't have to worry about Fulham necessarily doing the same to us, in the reversal play, because it's just unlikely to happen. The other question here was from Realism Jared. Do we know when Robbo will be back for an actual match? I do not have an actual date as to which match he will be coming back in. I know that I had heard 2 weeks. I'm not. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I'd heard. 2 weeks from now is when we could possibly expect to see Robbo back, which would be phenomenal. Yeah, there is no injury-free seasons. We always have injuries, no matter what, especially with this team. And Lee Whisker says, I know Klopp will play to win regardless, so I guess my point is irrelevant. I don't know, man. Sometimes there's been times when Klopp hasn't necessarily done that. He's put together lineups that haven't really gone with what you'd like to see. You're like, oh, this lineup is meant to win. This lineup is intended to win. And there's sometimes we just like, we kind of like this drew the white flag before even going really. And then Ozan Kabak says, I always see Pashetik in the AXA training center videos, but he's never fit. Yeah, man, I always see him in the cafeteria eating. I see him in the cafeteria eating. He's eating healthy though. That's good. At least you're eating healthy. I see him eating, getting the superfoods, like getting the berries in, and and getting the fruits and vegetables and stuff in there. I see that too. Let me get in with this front lineup. And you guys, if you guys have anyone that you think I've got it wrong, let me hear about it. I'm open to criticism myself. Yeah, I love Liverpool. I know I never see Thiago in those videos, just saying. But I did see Thiago in our last match against Newcastle. Thiago he wasn't dressed to play on the bench, but he was a part of the not sitting in the stands, way in the stands. He actually had his parka on. He was dealing with the elements because it was horrible out. And I saw him at the end of the game, chopping it up with some people, barking out some orders. So, Thiago, the Bentley is definitely close, I think, to purring one more time. So what I was going to say is this: with this lineup, my front lineup, I know my front line is probably going to be the most criticized, possibly. I have Diego Jota starting, and the reason why I have Diego starting is this reason. Not because I don't believe in Nunez. I don't mind seeing Nunez start. That's not the issue. The one thing I do know though is that Diego puts Arsenal in a spleef. He always really has fun when it's almost like he circles that date whenever we're playing Arsenal, and he usually cooks Arsenal. They do poorly against Diego. And it's the reason why I would like to give him as much time as possible to get something to pop off. There's so many different players that we could put in this position. We could put Nunez in that spot. We could put Cody in that spot, in the center forward spot. I don't know if you guys have a difference in that. But I would like to see Diego get a. I think this would be a really opportune time to see Diego get the start. I think that by doing so, I would like to see Diego get the start in this game. I'd like to see Cody get the start in the Fulham game, and then once we get back to Premier League games, Nunez get the start. That's just how I like to. That's just me doing my man management the way I think Klopp has to deal with that too. He has to keep these guys happy and everything else. And then I have on the left wing, I have Diaz. Now, I know some of you might have Cody starting on the left wing. Some of you might even have Diego starting on the left wing. I definitely think that Diaz, who also has a tendency to cook Arsenal, even though he didn't necessarily flambe them last time, I think, though, he's due. I really think he's due. I would like to see Diaz play in this matchup. I would like to see him get really get some good opportunities to get a goal, get something where he'll I'd like to see him bag a goal, basically. Obviously, I'd like to see anyone bag a goal for our team, but I really think that this could be his game to do so because he does really well against Arsenal, at the same levels as Diego does. And that's just the honest God truth. He has the same similar success rate against Arsenal as Diego does. That right side, obviously, without Salah, I have Elliott in that right side. I know we could possibly see Gravenberch in that role too, if we want to push Elliott into that midfield position and utilize him. I just think that we get a little bit more out of athletically, physicality, and also it's a kind of a push when it comes to defensively because I don't think Gravenberch is just there yet defensively. But I think we might still, because of the physicality, because of the ability to be able to track back and with his speed and everything else, we might get a little bit more out of him by putting Gravenberch in that right midfield position. But you never know. You could see Gravenberch very well play that right midfield, right winger position, especially without Dom in there. Unfortunately, this is not unfortunately, I shouldn't say that. But we don't get the fortune to see Dom be there. So, yeah, I'm not forgetting about Natty. I saw Nat Phillips Nat Phillips was at the AXA. I saw him in the video. I definitely saw him in the video. Realism Jared says we can't afford any injuries in our back line. We only have BVD, Kanate, Kwanzaa, Gomez, Trent, and again, like I said earlier, Nat Phillips at the moment at least. Ozan Kabak asks, 12th man, thoughts on Owen Beck? Do you think he'll get any minutes in January? I think he will get minutes. I think he'll get minutes. Most likely he'll get minutes in that Fulham matchup. I also think, let's see, who do we have? Let's see who we have coming up, actually. We have, after the full match, we have Bournemouth away. We have, obviously, the replay for the FL Cup, English Football League. We have that on my birthday too, which is cool. And then we have Chelsea at home. I can see Owen Beck getting playing time against Fulham. Bournemouth is a possibility. I don't know if we'll do that or not, because I really think that what'll happen is Gomez will start Arsenal. Beck could start against Fulham away, Fulham at home. I prefer starting youth players at home as opposed to on the away. I know that Klopp has started youth players on the road occasionally, but I would prefer them to play at home. And then we have, after the Fulham game, we have Bournemouth, and then I'd like to see Gomez back for that. And then we have Fulham away. We could possibly give Gomez a break on that game. And then hopefully we'll have Robbo back for the Chelsea matchup. So yeah, you might see him get some minutes here and there, but I think you'll see him get one start, possibly one, maybe two, but certainly one start in there. Let's see. Realism Jared is saying this. He's saying, let me put the comment up there. He's saying, what about Mac 10 and Jones in the double pivot with Grav in the 10 rotating with Elliott? I don't mind I don't mind. I know a lot of people, not this year, but last year, going into the campaign, I was calling out for a 4-2-3-1 to utilize Bobby in that 10 role to try to get a little bit more squeeze a little bit more out of Bobby. But we occasionally, like in a blue moon, went that direction, but we don't really utilize a 10 in this system too often. So I'd love to see how that could work out, but I don't necessarily see Klopp going to the 4-2-3-1. I think that's even a more so a reason why he was so quick to give up on Fab. Let's see, KJSJ, big up to you. He says, I trust Harvey more in the right side at 8, to be honest. And I agree with that. I understand, or not agree, but I mean, I can understand you coming across and saying that. We've seen him more in the right mid. Hey, I know that Harvey's got a real disciplined mindset when it comes to this year and being a contributor and being someone that's going to actually bring some real return for us on the pitch. And I think that he understands the fact that with Salah gone, there's a big hole. There's a big, deficit or big spot to fill in that right wing position. And I know that he's probably looking and knowing that if he can measure up to play well, it'll really go well with solidifying himself in this not only in this lineup but for this team. And I think he has already, certainly so. But Dundee FC fans are saying on socials that Beck is the best left back in the Scottish Premier League. That's awesome to hear. I'm excited to see what he has to offer. I think it's I'm not gonna get too hype. The same way, like I'm gonna go with a little bit more measured approach towards Beck playing for us at left back, more so than when I was very high and high on anticipation to see Doak at right wing. I think that that's because sometimes if you set the bar so high that when you see a player and he doesn't completely wow you, then you might be let down. You might be a little bit disappointed. I don't want to do that for Beck. He's a young man. He's doing well in the Scottish Premier League. I'd like to see him definitely, round into form for us. I love Liverpool has Harvey at the right center mid. He has Diaz as a right wing and Darwin as a left wing. Okay, that's definitely switching it up a little bit there. Let's see. Jay Kismet, what up, bro? He says, we need Darwin to score in the way he does in training. Same goes for McAllister and Elliott. Okay. I feel you. It'd be nice to see this, KJSJ. It'd be really nice to see this. He's saying, I hope Big Nat can play a part in this upcoming run of games. I will admit that if you do see Nat Phillips in a game, it probably means that someone, is got a knock or something, or they just look tattered and look tired, and we need someone to fill or someone to pick up the slack. But I like Nat Phillips. You can't give anything. You can't take anything away from the guy's heart, and he does. He wears the badge as if it means something. So that much alone is something I rate. He's also saying I trust him on the right wing too, but I'd have him in the right side at 8 instead of Grav. Okay. I know you're not talking about Nat Phillips, so you gotta tell me who you're. If you're talking about, are you talking about Elliott? I believe, or I think you're talking about Elliott. Let's see. Hackbo also scoring in training without thinking about it. Yeah, man. I think people have highly underestimated and undervalued Cody. I think Cody did so well for us last year. I think he was rounding the form. It was unfortunate that he got that injury in a game where he scored the goal after he sustained the injury, muscled through, and still scored the goal, and then immediately came off. Yeah, I think people are really are undervaluing and underestimating Cody. I think he's going to have a definite seismic return to some real Cody Hackbo levels. Let's see. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Here's one. How big of a blow is Dom's hamstring injury? He will miss a minimum of 2 games. I think it's definitely a letdown in that he's not going to be. I would have liked to seen him play the right wing position. I think that if we were playing in this game, you would have probably saw a front line with him in the right wing spot, and you would have saw Elliott in that right midfielder spot. I think Dom and Elliott work well together because they have such high energy. They have a high intensity, and they also have the work rate is so intensive that I think that you would have seen some real relentlessness, to say the least, on that right hand side. Gravenberch, I'm hoping we're going to see that too. I know he's got a motor on him. I know that he's got speed, quickness, physicality, athleticism. It's just a matter of rounding that all into form and getting some goals out of him. I would like to see him. I would like to see him really put together. Excuse me again. I would like to see him put together a real nice run of games here. And I think he's going to get the opportunity to, with the midfield the way it is, with Endo leaving and with Dom not being able to play for at least another 2 games. I think you're going to see Gravenberch feature in this game and possibly even in the Fulham game. Let's see. All our forwards have amazing ability, but game day pressure playing for Liverpool is on a very different level. Fans don't understand. Most cannot handle the pressure and crumble and cannot perform. I hope that they measure up to that realism, Jared. I definitely hope that they do. Jay Kismet saying he will play Gomez at left back before Beck, but if Klopp thinks he can handle it, then he will get game time. I think we'll see. I don't think we'll be so, this will be such a blowout or anything like that where you get to see you'll see Beck get subbed in for Gomez. But I will say that I think that we're going to see Beck in that next matchup. Let's see. Ozan Kabak says he hopes Dom is fit by the Bournemouth away game. Hopefully he starts the Chelsea game. That'd be great. I wouldn't mind seeing him start at right wing for us at home against Chelsea. That'd be great. I love Liverpool says he doesn't like Beck being recalled, to be honest. Robbo back soon will just bench him permanently rather he get game time at Dundee, which is a shame too, because there is a ruling where you can't play for more than 2 teams, I think it is, or something like that, in a calendar year. So therefore, because he's going out to loan if Beck were to play for us in the Premier League or play for us in any measure, then I don't think that he'll be eligible to go back on loan. I know that it's the reason why, despite the fact, for instance, that Fabinho, God, I'm getting all tongue-tied. Sorry. Fab is returning, but not necessarily going to be shown playing for Liverpool. It's most likely because he will be going out back on loan to another team. I believe his loan was ending. He only had like a 6-month loan, and now that it's ending, he's going to be the opportunity to go to another team. But if he's eligible to go back to Dundee, then that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Maybe it's because it would be 2 teams that even though we are the second team, I know he can't play for a third team. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't think he could go out. He might be able to go back to Dundee, but he certainly, I don't believe he can play for Dundee, play for Liverpool, and then go out for necessarily like a loan. Let's say hypothetically later on in the transfer window, go out on another loan to another team that is separate from Dundee. That's what I believe. But I'll do research. I'll make sure that my statement is accurate. I'll give you an update on that. Let's see. Anything else? Yes, Ozan, that is true. He says he just read that Beck is suspended for the Arsenal game due to suspensions occurred at Dundee FC, which doesn't really make sense considering they're the Scottish. It's the Scottish Premier League. It's not the English Premier League. I don't understand why a suspension in another league carries over to your suspension in another league, but yeah, that's the case. That's certainly the case. And oh yeah, you're just seeing the Beck highlights. Yeah, for sure. Beck's got some talent, man. Good player in the Robbo vein, but not even close to that level yet. Yeah, I mean he's still a youngster, man. He's still a youngster. He's still someone that can definitely see. There's another lineup here, real quick, before we go into scores and score predictions and scorer predictions. If this front lineup doesn't play, here's a lineup that I could possibly measure seeing. Let's see how we're going to do this. Let me just move Bridge here for a second. We can bring Elliott down. We can bring Diego over to the right side, which is a unique thing because we don't see him too often. I know there's been a shout for Diaz to play on the right side. And this could be a possibility too. I don't know if you guys I don't know if Diego starts on the right wing or not. I know that putting a shot killer, putting Diego on the right side is a definite interesting twist. It's something that Arsenal certainly won't be expecting. I know that Nunez and Diego do have some good chemistry. It could be easily having that front three could be our most deadly front three. Most high intensity, most versatile, and definitely the most intensified offensive threat that we could put as a front three. It's just interesting. I don't know. Everyone's not liking this one. Everyone's not liking this. Yes, of course. Ozzy's got I love to have Ozzy, join the podcast here. I know Ozzy's normally playing his FC24, trying to get silverware glory that way. But yeah, I would love to see Ozzy. I participated in Ozzy's stream as well. I've done his live stream. I would love to have him be a guest on my stream as well. I'm going to star your I love Liverpool. I'm going to star your score result. I like that too. I'm going to put that there. So you guys really aren't feeling that. All right, I'm going to put Ozan. I see your score result. Everyone's anti-Hatta on the right-hand side. That's cool. It's just interesting. I mean, I believe Diego's played there one time. I think he's played once on the right. Why in the chat tell me why you guys are so intimate against Diego playing on the right side for you? This I'm not judging. I'm not making judgment. I'm not going to even. I'm not trying to start a debate per se. I'm just interested to hear your perception on why Diego being on the right side is a no-go for a lot of you. I know. I see KJSJ is saying that he'd rather see Diaz at right wing and have Diego Hatta as the 9 and Darwin as the left wing. Okay. Let's see. I love Liverpool says Hatta been right wing 2 or 3 times. Exactly. That's what I thought. But in his opinion, he's always been crap to him on the right wing. Okay. Diego says 1. Oh, that's your scores. I want to make sure that we get that in there. Honesty, big up, brother. Big up. yeah, I'd like to hear why you guys are so intimate um, against Diego not being there. I heard I love Liverpool saying that he just doesn't do it for him there lately, or even despite his 2 or 3 appearances on the right side. I'd love to hear why you guys think that you don't want to. You're so against Diego being on the right wing. I just look at it sometimes. It's about figuring out how to get these players on the pitch, knowing what they can do against this team, knowing their history. And I get it that, albeit Diego when he has bagged against Arsenal, it's never been I don't think it's ever been at right wing. But I'm just trying to say that certain players really do well against this Arsenal team, whether it's away, whether it's home or away, they really do well against this Arsenal team. Diaz and Diego are 2 players that happen to be those players for us. So that's why I'd like to figure out a way to, it's one of those things where you have these dynamic players and you want to make sure that you get them the opportunity, get them a really concerted time on the pitch to get it done. You want to give them at least 65 minutes on the pitch to really get that goal or 2 in for us. And yeah, I personally have been looking at it like this too. Yeah, see? Okay. So Diego Jota's career, he's played, I think this is how many appearances he's played at. He's had 173 appearances at left wing, 93 appearances at center forward, second striker at 10, if not if you want to call it that. Second striker at 46 times, and at right wing 23 times. He has played right wing in his career. Let's see. I Love Liverpool says that N said it best. Hata's proven he's not good on right wing, but Diaz still unknown there, so give Diaz that shot. Okay, I get that mindset. Honesty says, according to Dave, OC Cop, the Ram for tomorrow will the right attacking mid for because there are some Rams that are Reds, but anyway, the Ram for tomorrow would be Ali, BBD, Ibu, Trent, Joe. Midfield of Mac, CJ, Ryan, Gravenberch. Attacking would be Darwin at the striker, Diaz at left wing, and Hata. Hey. So maybe Dave's seeing it the way I'm kind of, seeing it as a backup. Okay, Dave, OC Cop. I know that he likes to do his best and try to get these things right. Dustin is saying, in general, I know for sure Hata can play right wing. I do too. I think he can play the right wing. Yeah. You talking about Nottingham Forest Ram? Yeah, that Ram. It's all good honesty. I appreciate you. I appreciate you tuning in, showing love, and supporting the channel. Big up as always, my Red, for sure. But yeah, man. Let's see. And this is some more stats. Okay, this is Hata's career as of goals and assists. At left wing, Hata has 60 goals, 26 assists. At center forward, he has 40 goals, 16 assists. And as second striker, he has 12 and 12. And as right wing, he has 8 goals and 2 assists. Okay. Kind of measures with his appearances. I mean, they're all definitely kind of in par to his appearances. I got you at Liverpool. Yeah. I mean, I got you. I'd rather see if I wouldn't necessarily say Joey G at right wing. If there's anyone, if I was going to put anyone at right wing that plays fullback, it would be Mr. Trent Alexander-Arnold. But that's a whole other conversation. Dustin says, he's been pondering a formation change, playing a demand and letting Hata be in that role behind the strikers. Okay. Interesting. For sure. Realism Jared's got it spot on. Real road to 1K, then the road to 10K, then the road to 100K. We're gonna just drop zeros behind there. We'll put Alison's clean sheet zeros behind that one, and I'll be good too. And then also, honestly says also, Dave OC Cop said Klopp will have some tweaks to the system. I think the tweak to the system, if he does put it in there, it's gonna be interesting because I don't know what the tweaks are gonna be. To be honest with you, I'd like to see. I'm interested with that kind of comment, and if he does have an inside tact as to what Klopp is preparing to do, I'm interested to see it. I'm very interested to see it because it'd be interesting. Maybe some of the tweaks was you might see Diaz. I mean, the front three is so interchangeable in itself, but a diamond. I got you, Dustin. I'm gonna pull your statement up in a second. But one thing we do see a lot is such an interchangeable, switch up of positions in our formation where you might see Nunez on the left, you'll see Diaz on the right, you might see Diego in the middle. That's why, despite the fact of me saying, okay, this might be the formation that we come out with, if it ends up being this formation or the earlier formation that I alluded to, with Elliot at the right wing, and I think I had Diego in the middle, or maybe even Cody in the middle, whichever the case might be, you're going to see them interchanging in the front three a lot. You're going to see them where, Nunez will be out left, and you might see Diaz in the middle. I think you could, that if that's the tweak you're talking about, I can see that for sure. But Dustin's saying that he's looking for a diamond like a 4-1-2-1-2. Okay. If we see a 4-1-2-1-2, that's definitely going to be very, very much an interesting tweak. And also you might see in a 4-4-2, Dustin is saying that would be interesting too. If it's a 4-4-2, then I don't think you'll see this front lineup for certain. That's certainly more so a lineup consisting of Gravenberch and Elliott if we go to a 4-4-2. And you could see something where maybe you see, Jones and McAllister in a pivot role together, and then you could have Gravenberch on the left, and you have Elliott at the right mid, something like that, and you have Nunez and Diego as your two forwards. I wouldn't be against that. That'd be kind of a cool switch up. Yeah. Who knows? I don't know. Who knows why he does? We need width in a diamond shape. Look how narrow we were against Sheffield. I think sometimes we go with what the opposition, considering, for instance, when we had Manchester United, Manchester United played us, for instance, narrow, as in they try to force us to go narrow. They're like, if you want the wings, have at them, but we're not going to give you the middle third of the pitch. Hello, welcome. I don't know what that. You'll have to. I know you'll have to tell me what that means. If you have Google Translate or something. But yeah, it's one of those things where Manchester United pushed us more central, so they were like, have at the wings if you want it. If you want wide play, fine, but we're going to make you go central. It's the reason why we had a lot of shots, but a lot of them were coming from either inside the box or outside the box, but we weren't able to necessarily coalesce to some goals in that game. And then what you saw Klopp do in the second half was he adjusted the lineup. He ended up saying, okay, cool. You're going to give us the wide positions, and you saw us press out a little bit further out wide and look to cross more so from wide positions. And unfortunately, it didn't result in goals for us. Something I do want to see us do more of, which is capitalize off of our crosses more so, set pieces, especially corners, but even our crosses in general. Maybe with Diego back, maybe with Nunez in the middle, either or Diego or Nunez in the middle, maybe with Cody even in the middle. Cody's Cody, despite his height, doesn't exactly have the command of the air that I would like to see him have, but I still think that he is can put a head to some goals. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how we go about it. And then I Love Liverpool also says, thing is, if you listen to Klopp, he's been saying for years they don't think about our shape in that way. It's not a static numbers thing. It's a positional phases thing. That's a well-placed statement. I Love Liverpool. Something I've been saying from 2 years now. It's funny, guys, and if you guys think about it too, when you hear the pundits, when you hear the other content creators, especially the content creators that want you to believe that you have amnesia or you have selective memory. It's amazing how so many players that they were so against and so down on, all of a sudden they're the cat's meow. The way that we performed it, like I remember, I went back and forth with like Cav, for instance, and we were talking about how I think we have a formation that is an amoeba style formation that we end up utilizing a lot of nuances of fluidity in where that you'll find our front line interexchanging in different roles and positions on the pitch. Sometimes even with our midfield, especially with our inverted fullback moving up sometimes and causing the shape of our back line to go the way it does. Because sometimes in Trent could be inverted, Gomez could be forward, and all of a sudden it takes on a different shape. Now all of a sudden you can't go. I don't think you can go episode or you can't go an episode without hearing Cav or some of these other guys say fluidity and fluid play and da. I see you guys. I see you. So just remember where you heard it first. Despite the fact that a lot of people are jumping on the 12th man bandwagon here and saying some of the concepts I've been preaching, and some of the concepts that you guys come up with, some of the concepts that you've been very mindful and knowledgeable on, just like I said, just like I Love Liverpool just mentioned about the way of positional phases and such. And I think that's a well positioned and well thought out statement as well. Let me drop Diaz's little numbers here. Realism Jared says Diaz career his games for goals / assists, 158 games, 44 goals, 18 assists at left wing, 71 games at left mid, 27 goals, 14 assists. At center forward, he's got 5 games but hasn't scored or assisted. At right mid, he's had 3 games, 1 goal, 0 assists. And at right wing, he's had 0 goals, 1 assist. If that's the case, let's keep him on the left side. Let's keep him on the left side and let him cook from there. And those are his numbers. I'm sure he can add to those numbers from the right side, I'm certain, but if history is a tell, I'm saying let's keep Diaz on the left side, because those numbers certainly favor his left side contributions more so than his central, if not right wing contributions, to say the least. But yes, big up Realism Jared. Yes, please like, subscribe, share. Yeah, you know what? I'd be interested to see Darwin's. Realism Jared, if you have that statistic, I know I did an episode on Darwin a while back. I did an episode as to why I think that he still has the potential to really score and get to the levels that I think that he can measure up to, which is 20 goals, all games, all comps, 20 goal season. He's already halfway there. We're already halfway. It's crazy how we're halfway through the season already. This season has somewhat flown by, considering we are at the halfway point for games. It's pretty interesting. I would like to see if Jared, if you do have access to that, I would like to definitely see. I know that's on Transfer Market sometimes has those kinds of numbers readily available. I definitely would like to see what his numbers are from the different roles that he's played, or different positional wise. Oh, okay. Got you, Realism Jared. Definitely. Big up, big up. All right, so let's get into some scores while Realism Jared gets Realism Jared gets that Darwin update. I Love Liverpool has us winning 1-0. I'd love to know who you have scoring in that game and for who has our miracle goal in this game for 1-0. Ozan Kabak, yes, he plays center back. High scoring game, but Diego and Darwin clinches the winners late in the game. That'd be cool. That'd definitely be cool. Maybe like 1-0 going to halftime and then we win 2-1. But he has this game. His score prediction is 3-2 Liverpool. Lee Wizkid has us 2-1. Okay. Daz Reynolds has us has us winning 1-2 because since we're the away team, usually the away team has the second score. So 1-2 with Liverpool winning. Has Nunez getting a goal and Diego Jota getting a goal, and he has Saka getting a goal. There's a shout. I probably have if they're gonna score, I probably have Jesus getting a goal for them. And what else do we have here? KJSJ7 has it 3-2 either way. Okay, so yeah, I think he has it 3-2 going to Arsenal or 3-2 going towards Liverpool. I take it. I did say your score, Ozan. Okay. I love it. I love Liverpool says Trent Nunez to Hata for the goal in transition. I would love to see that, man. I would love to see that. I believe we're going to win 2-1. Okay. I'd like to see Nunez get a tap in, by the way. Let's see. And this is big up. Realism Jared is giving us Darwin's career so far. His games, goals, and assists. At center forward, he has 167 games played, 67 goals, 26 assists. At left wing, he has 29 games played, 18 goals, 5 assists. At second striker, he has 8 games played, 6 goals, 0 assists. And at right wing, 3 games played, 0 goals, 1 assist. For all the people that are saying he should be playing left wing, that's those center forward numbers really say, play him at center forward and just forget about it. Thank you, Reels and Jared, for those numbers, by the way. Thank you. Ozan Kabak, yes, he plays center back, says, I'd love to see Joe Gomez finally score his first ever goal for us and contribute to a win. That'd be fantastic. As a matter of fact, that's something that I will do, and I will put a fun little bet down for Gomez to get his first. That would be incredible if he ends up getting the game winner for us. Maybe he gets the 1-0 goal for us. That'd be fantastic. I could care less about our front line scoring as long as we get the win. That's all that matters. But yeah, Jake Hisman's showing you love there, Reels and Jared, by saying nice one for the stats. So again, looks like the consensus has Diego getting a goal. No one has Diaz getting a goal, huh? No goals for Diaz. I have a goal for Diaz. I think Diaz is going to score. Why not? I know all three of them. Well, maybe they can. Maybe we can do a 3-1. Look, I think we're going to get some real good shot attempts. I think look for Curtis to possibly have a crack at goal. I think Elliott's going to get a shot at goal as well. Obviously, Nunez gets plenty of opportunities, so he'll definitely get a crack at goal. I definitely think Diaz is going to get one opportunity where he's going to break from the left. He's going to bring it in central. He's going to get a crack at goal, and I hope that he scores. Diego, same thing. Diego's going to get definitely Diego's going to get one of those goals where you're just like, that's just Diego being Diego. I really do think that. Does anyone have any of our goal scorers? Does anyone think that our goal scorers are going to score at least 2? Or does anyone have a hat trick? Does anyone have any of our goal scorers scoring a hat trick or at least 2 goals? Does anyone have any player on our team scoring 2 goals? I saw a lot of goals being spread out somewhat in the predictions. Do we see any double goal scorers or brace getting a brace on their goals? Does anyone have that? It'd be interesting. That obviously would mean that obviously someone's cooking in that match. Is this the game that Nunez scores 2? Is this the game that Diego gets a brace? Is this the game that Diaz breaks out? Lucho breaks out and gets a brace. Realism Jarrett says Jones could be our brace. It'd be great. That'd be great to see. Darwin or Diego get a brace for us. If there's any person to get a brace, it'd be those 2 players. Okay. All right. So yeah, we're coming up on. We're getting close to the full 90 here. So whatever we do tomorrow, I see them controlling possession mostly, or he sees them controlling possession. This is I Love Liverpool possession mostly, and us getting a goal on the counter when they feel too comfy. It should be interesting because I know that everyone. I keep getting reminded about how Gabriel and Saliba are the best center back pair in the league. Keep getting reminded of that time and time again by us about the Gooners. He says, I have a feeling Elliott's going to score and Kwanzaa maybe. Okay, but no doubles in mine. No doubles. Okay, I feel you. No braces to be met. Vase of Flowers. What up, bro? Good to see you. I saw you in a couple of. I saw you in what was it? The LFC transfer room, I think, or one of those broadcasts. We're chopping it up. I'm intrigued. He says, Vase of Flowers says, I'm intrigued to see how Arteta lines up. Yeah, for sure. Marion Southport's in the house. One of our Reds queens. Nice. One of our majesties. One of our red majesties, for sure. Liverpool 12th man, big up, saying hello to Realism Jared, Red for Life, Jay Kismet, and I Love Liverpool. Big up to you all. Yes. Big up to all of you. Vase of Flowers as well. You know what? Yes. Here, I'll show you real quick. This is what since you're just tuning in, Vase of Flowers, this is the lineup I believe we're going to see against us. I think they're going to come. I think they're really going to field a team looking to win, looking to break the slump that they're in, looking to show and really perform in front of the home crowd. It's important for them to do so. Yes, I think that's going to be definitely an interesting ensemble of people or players that we look at. But Vase of Flowers, this is what I have too going. I have again Saka, Jesus, Martinelli starting for them. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw let me see. Emery Smith Rowe, ESR. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw him play either. I don't think you'll see him play in front of Havertz. I think that you could possibly see him. I don't know. I don't say if you put ESR in the Martinelli role. If he were to play, you might see him in right left mid, or you might see Havertz up front. But it should be interesting. Vase of Flowers is saying Elliott will be raring to go, and he has plenty of fitness. I agree with that. I think we're gonna see a shot or two from Elliott. Mark my words. We will see a shot from Elliott, either outside the box shot or even something where he makes a run and he gets hooked up, and you end up seeing him try to put another placement goal in, like the one that he had I want to say the one that Gravenberch hooked him up with, something like that. You might see him make a kind of a run like that. Okay. But yes, that's what I think we're going to see. This is the lineup we're going to see. It's going to be very interesting. I know. I know that they're very high on their midfield. I know the last time they came out, Rice did not have a phenomenal game. I know he's going to be looking to make a difference in that this time. Yeah. So many Gabriels in their side. It looks like that is interesting. That is true. They do have a lot of Gabriels in their side. Gabriel Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus. They have just like Gabriel. Yeah, it is pretty interesting. 3 Gabriels. But yeah, it should be a fun matchup. I don't know if I will update you guys to see if I am going to be doing a watch along. Most likely I will be going to my boozer. I most likely will be going to my boozer. I know that normally for the bigger games like this, or the bigger games and the bigger matchups, it is very difficult to find a place to even sit down at our boozer club, because it for these kinds of games they come out, especially when it's a Saturday or Sunday matchup, and especially when it's a little bit more hospitable towards the time zones. I know for this game tomorrow for me, it's going to be 9:30 a.m. So you will see a little bit more concerted effort by a lot of people waking up to go and watch the game down at the local boozer. So big up to Crown Public House. We'll see if I do go to that. But if I don't go to the boozer, most likely I'll try to see if I can, participate with ends, or participate with Bayesian Reds TV, or maybe even do my own. Who knows? But I will give you guys an update. You will see something that either I might like even just redirect you to have like a little bit of a show and a redirect it to you. Either or. You guys can tell me if you guys want me to do a watch along or not. But yeah, tell me in the comments actually if you want me to or not. But McAllister, Jones, Elliott should be a midfield that can do plenty of running. None of the 3 have started too many games. Your point about that was spot on, in the sense of Elliott having definitely enough in the tank, I believe, to be able to do some running with Odegaard. And I believe McAllister needing the legs should be able to do something as well. He's saying, Base Flowers saying that he thinks we get a result tomorrow for sure. I hope we get a result. I really, really hope we get a result. I know it'll be a real wake-up call to Arsenal, to knock them out of FA Cup, to also continue our pursuit of getting all the belts. And I want all the Infinity Stones, okay? And that's just that. But yeah, guys, I think that's about all I have to say. Whoops, let me go to this. There I had to find the right one to switch to there. But yeah, so that's where we are. That's where we're at. It should be a fun matchup. Where are you guys going to watch? Are you guys, tell me in real quick in the chat, are you guys going to be watching the game at home? Are you going to be going to your boozer, your local boozer, or if you have a supporter club, are you going to be going to your local supporter club? Or are you going to be going to the match? Maybe you're going to the game. Tell me how do you guys look to watch the game tomorrow? Yes, Realism Jared. Yeah, the game is at 9:30 a.m. for me tomorrow, so it's not as bad as some of those other games when I've had to wake up at like 5:30 or 4:30 in the morning, or 4 o'clock in the morning technically, to be able to have a chance of watching the game, or 5 a.m. in the morning, sometimes 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. 9:30 in the morning, I can make it. I do have an event tonight So I won't be getting probably home until like 3 o'clock in the morning, something like that. So, but all the same, it should be fun. It should be a lot of fun. But yeah, tell me how you guys are gonna. If you guys don't want to tell me in the chat, tell me in the comments. How do you guys? What are your expectations on the game? And tell me more so, where are you guys planning on watching the game? If you plan on watching it at home, if you plan on having people over for the game, if you plan on going to someone's home to watch the game, if you plan on going to your local boozer, your local supporter club, it'd be interesting to see how you guys do it. The kickoff for me is 9:30 a.m. So that would be what time is that? So I'm trying to do quick math here. So that's 12 o'clock with 7, so it's an hour. It's 3 hours. 7. So it's like 4 o'clock, I think I want to say. It's something like a 4 o'clock something time. I think it's like around 4:30, I want to say is the time. 4:30 p.m. I think it is. Oh, okay. It's 1:30 p.m. Okay. Wait. Yeah, that's 4:30 is way too many hours, right? I think so. So Basic Flowers is saying it's yeah, I think it's at 4. I want to say it's at 4. I thought it's 9:30 a.m. for me. That's hard. It's difficult. So that'd be 16. That'd be 16:30. Yeah, 4:30. So yeah, it's 4:30. 4:30 UK time. That is. So it'll be 16:30. Yeah, because I believe you're 7 hours ahead of me now at the moment. So 9:30 a.m. for me, 4:30 for you for UK time. Let's get this win, guys. Let's get this win. Make this Liverpool, bring us some FA Cup success. Get all the belts. That's what it's all about, right? All the belts. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for tuning in. Yeah, we're gonna have. I did a fun show. If you guys haven't seen that show, I did a show with about an African Mount Rushmore. Uncle Albert was a part of the show. Quasi from Quasi Bowl TV was part of the show. Nilante was a part of the show. It was a fun show. We did like basically since Mo is going and returning to Africa for the AFCON, I put together a show to see, does he make the top 4 greatest players of all time, even without AFCON being under his belt, or is it AFCON that's going to make him excel to the Mount Rushmore, which is like 4 names, four chiseled faces into the mountain of greatest African footballer of all time. Very interesting list of players that we put together. I know a lot of us aren't necessarily looking or hoping that he wins. I mean, we're hoping the best. Of course, we want the best. We want whatever will bring him mental stability. But realistically, we would love to have Mo Salah back in our confines to be able to push on for all the belts, all the Infinity Stones, and everything else. But yeah, Dustin saying he still wants to argue Mane over Eto'o. That's interesting, brother. I know that's a very interesting conversation. Yeah, man. If anything, put that in the comments. Put in your context as to why you think Mane is over Eto'o in the comments for that video, if you will. I'll most certainly try to do my best to give an answer or give a comment back, and I'm certain that the guys that were a part of the panel will certainly do the same. And obviously, so you'll see probably someone. I don't care if it's too long, if it's too lengthy of a comment. Just bring it. I'm all about context. I'm all about the intellectual exchanges. I think it's always so good. Yeah, Basic Flower says Eto'o was very good. So was Sadio. That's a tough one. It is a very tough one. It is a very tough one to measure up to. I mean, it's alone. It's very interesting alone that people have rated Mane over Salah when it comes to prominence, considering that most people, or not most people, some people would have Salah as being possibly the greatest Premier era player for Reds, and that goes with Steven Gerrard in that argument. There are those that would say that. There's those that could argue that. I don't know. I'm a big Steven Gerrard fan. But yeah, there's those that could argue that. It's interesting. But obviously Steven Gerrard isn't from Africa. But I'm just saying in the sense of being a Reds icon. If you're going to say that Salah is the greatest Red of all time, it's interesting. I guess you're measuring the AFCON win by Mane to really be the difference maker in Mane over Salah in that Mount Rushmore case. It's very interesting. I love it. I love it. Let me see. There's one question before we get out of here because we're at the 90th minute. We'll go into extra time for a real quick second. It says 12th man, if you're ever struggling for a topic for content, might I suggest why and who is responsible for Liverpool's over 2-decade fall off? Okay, interesting. Why and who is responsible for Liverpool's over 2 decades fall off? So you mean you think in the last 20 years, from basically 2003, because I consider that's also a Champions League in there for us, 3-decade fall off. Okay, so that's even long. That's basically almost like the entire Premier League existence for Liverpool. 3-decade fall off. Hey, I'd be willing to have a debate over that. I don't think that we've had. I think we've had a. I don't think that we've had a fall off. Because let's see. That includes the. Well then, okay. So yeah, I can understand. Considering from the 70s and 80s, considering the rise of the level and the rise of the team during the 70s and especially during the 80s, the level that we were at, to where the 90s, the 2000s, so that's 90 to 2000, 2000 to 2010, and 2010 to 2020. You're saying basically we've had a fall off? It'd be interesting. I think a lot of that has to deal with Hicks and Gillette. It has to deal with FSG. I don't necessarily want to go down that rabbit hole, but be cool. I'll remember that. Reels and Jared. And if I do, you're more than welcome to be a panelist to bring some extra context, because that's what I'm all about. If we're going to discuss things, I'm all about allowing for you to have context in what you have to say. I'm not going to take a little snippet from what you have to say. I'm going to try to do my best to give you a fair shot at what we are debating on. Tough times, and Klopp has bought some old school LC authority back to the club. Okay, that's Jay Kismet answering your question. We have one player, we have one Premier League and 2 UCLs in that time for a club our size. That is scandalous. But it's not like we haven't won other trophies as well during that time as well. I mean, we've also won the World Club Cup. We've won the Super Cup. We've won, I'm not going to say anything about the Community Shield, but we've won obviously the FA Cup. We've won the League Cup for a record number of times. We also are the most historical or storied team when it comes to League Cups. We have the most League Cups, more than any other Premier League team in the history of the competition. I'd like to see us that's the reason why I'd like to see us do well in the FA Cup, so we can start to build up our FA Cup resume as well. And he's saying Diaz came back to life against Newcastle. He did. It looked more like Lucho after his poor run of form. Yes, it certainly did. And then last but not least, I get 2 more comments in. Last but not least, these last 2 comments. Yep, Diaz in his last 3 games has stepped up each time. His Newcastle game being the best out of the 3. I agree with that completely. He has progressively stepped up, and I think that, hey, if there's any time for him to step up, it'll be tomorrow. And then this last comment is, if SSG had put just a little more money into transfer, we'd have won more. Yeah, you know what? I can understand that. Sometimes with me, my opinion, this is just my opinion. You know what? I tend to look at it this in a similar way that Klopp does, or at least in my opinion, I tend to look at it a little bit like Klopp does, in that you have a known recipe. I get you. I get that people want to refresh. I get that people want to see some injection of new flavor, some new essence of angles to go with when it comes to our club. At the time, I also it's one of those, like, if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of concepts. But there were pieces that were certainly looking like they were on their last legs, so I can understand that. We certainly could have utilized some key acquisitions. We could have. I don't think any of us had the center back drought or center back famine that we had. No one really expected that to happen to our team. I know that no one really expected us to go through the famine that we went through with our midfield. Maybe some did, considering that Ox was always injury prone. I know that some of the cases might even go as far as to say, with Naby, there was no real concerted interest in thinking that Naby was going to be the person that you can rely on for time in and time out throughout entire Liverpool campaign. It would have been nice to have those acquisitions, but hey, we made them now. We've refreshed, certainly. We brought in some players that, despite them not having that experience of the Milners, experience of the Hendos, of the Bobbies, of the Fabs. We've also brought back legs. We brought back some real intensity, some real work engines into the midfield. I think no one really had us this far advanced in our midfield development. I certainly thought that we were going to see some real noticeable change in our team. But why I said that comment earlier is that I always have said that, despite the fact that FSG, I know that's a buzzword. I'm a trigger word. I should say I'm not trying to trigger anyone, okay, with the FSG comment. But what I can say is that FSG have made some acquisitions to this team that have people scratching their heads sometimes. And then later on, when we've allowed for those players to actually be a part of it, be a part of the team, be a part of the lineup, they've said, "Oh, now we get it. Now we get it." I'm not saying, there were some, I think that FSG does not really make panic buys per se. I don't see them necessarily doing that this January. Even when they did make, even remotely so, some semblance of a panic buy, like when they bought Artur, or when they bought hold your ears, Ozan Kabak, or the hologram. I know that those acquisitions were acquisitions that we needed. We just needed bodies, and despite the fact that we needed bodies, Klopp still didn't play them really. He played Kabak somewhat, but but he really didn't play them. And it's one of those things where I think Klopp really validates his importance on a team having some a semblance of understanding what makes the watch run well. Like, he wants a finely tuned watch when it comes to his team, when it comes to having a team that can create chaos, create intensity, create some semblance of fluidity, to create a team that has a real understanding of being able to play different roles, different positions. That's my concept of this, of what Klopp wants. I even think that when it comes to the administration and getting the pieces for Klopp to get, and Klopp does have a more vocal presence when it comes to our acquisitions nowadays than opposed to the Edwards days. But yeah, I still think that there are those voices that will have some pushback against Klopp as to not give him everything and anything he wants, and kind of keep it under the pretense of what they have been utilizing for this team. So yeah, it's something interesting. I started to get into this episode. I know that we were supposed to. I said I would do this episode or do this kind of episode, realism Jared. We'll go a little bit more into it though. We can definitely have this conversation in a full blown episode, maybe on an off game or off week where we don't have that many competitions or don't have that much to really talk about when it comes to acquisitions or anything like that, or games, or even players coming back or players being injured or players this or that. Maybe we can have a conversation about that. But for right now, I'm happy with what we have, man. I hope that you guys are too. I'm happy with the team. I'm happy with the depth that we have. I would, of course, love to have seen our team not have as many injuries as we have. Matip is unfortunate. Robbo and Simicast both having the same injuries is kind of a weird coincidence. That's a weird branch in the timeline. I don't know if we have to go to the TSV and work on that or not. But shout out to those who understand the Loki reference there. But yeah, no doubt. Appreciate you, Vase of Flowers, saying he's got to go. But no doubt, appreciate you showing some love and chatting away and everything else. Please do, again, give this a like, give it a subscribe, give it a comment after this. I think we're well past the 90. We're well into extra time. I've done extra time for both the first half and the second half. I'm going to sign off here, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I'll let you guys know. Tell me in the comments whether you think that this lineup that I said is good or bad. If you haven't already given your score predictions or your scores, do that in the comments. Tell me what you think. If you guys have some suggestions for some shows you'd like to see, I'm always open to any suggestions, because if anything, I value the Mighty Red Army that we are. So be sure to do that. And I will be seeing you guys most likely tomorrow in one way or another. Up the Reds, right? And you'll never walk alone. Until tomorrow, then, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and continue to walk with each and every red you can. Okay? Because that's what it comes down to. Having each other's back. So until then, talk to you soon. Take care, guys.